And that's it.
All right.
Yep,
We rolling?
we are.
Okay.
We're going.
do
What do you want to start with?
Oh man, there's so much. How about, I don't know, what about documents? Let's get into classified, top secret shit.
Well, we don't know that's top secret, right? Or did you read something I didn't?
I thought that some of it was top secret, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah,
you know.
I'd seen
But
classified.
so we'll stick with classified.
I didn't see anything labeled top secret. So, what do you think?
All right, so truthfully, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? Like, these presidents leave office, they take boxes of shit. They got people packing their offices up for them and, shuffling shit around. To me, it's not really a big deal, except for the fact that they made a big deal out of it.
Right.
And, now that it's on the other end of the spectrum, it's, he didn't have that many documents, and, the vice president can declassify things. Well, when it was Trump, they want to throw him in jail, So I had a problem with that. I just want it to be fair. These are the rules, and if you break them, you're gonna pay the price for it. But it's the same whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So I hate what's going on right now. Like, it just sickens me.
I like it.
Yeah.
Because it's exposing the biases.
Oh, sure. I like that part of it. I mean, I'm glad we're seeing it. Yeah. Right.
Well, I'm glad other people are seeing it. Right. That hopefully are putting their own biases aside and seeing this for what it is.
I hope so.
I hope this is exposing people too.
I hope so.
Oh, wait a minute.
We'll see. We'll see if we get some Democrats or some. Okay, I am going to go down the rabbit hole a little bit. First, I'll ask you though. So, what do you think happens to Biden with this? Because I got a theory.
Nothing. I think that Republicans will try to
impeach him on
no, well, no, I don't even think they'll go that. I think they'll hold hearings on it. They'll want to know what documents were there. But we know the FBI is not going to go kick his garage door in and
we are on
seize the boxes.
Opposite ends of the spectrum finally on something. I think he's going to burn. I think he's done. Yeah. I think the Democrats are going to burn him. Honestly, the more I thought about this, listen, they're caught now. They wanted to throw Trump in jail, and they definitely wanted to prevent him from running again, right? That it would disqualify him from running in the future. Now they have a feeble old man who is, prone to gaffes, and like he's getting to be an embarrassment. Like, he's just waddling around out there like he can barely walk. No one wants to say that, mentally he's unsound. The liberals and Democrats don't want to admit that, because then people would say, well, you knew this when you voted for him, right? And they don't want to admit that. So now they have a chance to. The biggest problem they have right now, they don't want this guy to run again, and he's kind of convinced he's going to if he doesn't tip over. They can broom him. Get rid of him. Never have to admit that he was never mentally sound to be the president in the first place. And use that as the justification to prevent Trump from running in 2024. I think they're going to burn him. I think
how would that prevent Trump from running if they...
Because then they have the moral high ground, right? Hey, we threw our own president out of office for this kind of shit. And Trump, Trump can declassify the documents, but the argument they're making is that he wasn't cooperating and he was hiding documents. So, you know what I mean?
But nothing came of it, though, did it?
Well, they're still in the middle of it. They're still, is from what I
thought my understanding was that was just political posturing leading up to the primaries to try to smear Republicans.
From my understanding, he's still under investigation for that part of it.
Well, he's been under investigation since the day he got sworn.
Ultimately, their goal is to prevent that guy from running. And if they can say, look, we had a guy on our side, and we bounced him out of office. He was a sitting president. and we disqualified him from running for doing the same shit. Like to me.
So you think it's some 4D chess shit then?
Oh yeah.
Like they did the Trump thing.
Yep.
Then they find the documents in Biden's garage.
Right.
So they impeach him.
Yep.
Install Kamala.
Yep.
And then who runs for president?
What's the guy out in California? The one with the nice haircut, the governor out there.
Newsom?
Yeah, Newsom.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they put Newsom up. Or who was another one that I think is going to run? If he doesn't in 2024, he definitely will the next election, was the one that they kept nominating for Speaker of the House. The Democrats kept nominating him. He kept getting 212 votes.
McCarthy?
No, not McCarthy. The Democrats were nominating him. Let me look it up.
I don't know.
But anyways, I think they're gonna burn. They're gonna burn Biden. I think so.
I mean, it would be interesting if that's their play. But what does that say to others in the Democratic Party that?
Because there's a lot of people that's really getting to be unhappy with old Joe. You know what I mean? He's got so many scandals now. Like the best thing they can do is like get rid of him, because he's going to hurt them more than he's going to help them. All this shit that's coming out now. Oh man, that guy's in trouble.
There are some people out there that speculate that he was a fall guy all along, right?
Right.
Like we put him in there, we have him sign off on this and that, and then when we decide that we've gotten done what we want to get done, and people are upset, we say, oh, hey, we didn't know he was,
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of theories floating around, and I don't know. It is convenient that all of a sudden they found these documents in his garage.
Yeah, and then one in the house now, and then I don't know. I heard before I left to come here, I heard that they found one in some house that Hunter used to live in. Now that one really sounded fishy to me, like they're trying to say what Hunter Biden's running around with classified documents now. But seriously, they have a chance to get out from underneath this guy before he really damages the party more than he already is, because now the scandals are coming out and they're being proved now. And now that you got Republicans that are in the House, they're gonna move to impeach him, right? So,
but you keep saying he's damaging the party, but the party, I believe, I shouldn't say I believe, what I've heard is, again, he's the fall guy. Like the party is doing these things and having him, sign off on them.
Right.
And then they're going to be like, oh shit, like either a scandal like you said, or, oh shit, he's not doing good mentally, so we're going to, he's going to step down.
He might have been just set up from the get-go for it, but I don't think so. I think, he's going to be the fall guy now. That's what I think.
Yeah, it was interesting to see them, the regular corporate media, put emphasis on this.
Right, and you're seeing
that's what I was shocked about.
Yeah, they're not covering it up.
Yeah, they're not trying to. Yeah,
which tells you, I think they're gonna chuck him under the bus.
Yeah, they're not trying to cover at all for him. They're just putting it out.
And then they're gonna use that as Jeffries. Yep. That's who it was. Hakeem Jeffries. I think he's going to run. He's very well spoken. He's articulate, man. He's a good speaker.
Never heard of him.
And he's young, upcoming. Watch for him. He's going to end up being a superstar in the Democratic Party, I think.
Huh.
One of the pundits I was watching said that you reminded him of Barack Obama. So,
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
So, yeah, I think you're seeing the beginning of the end of, creepy Uncle Joe.
I thought it was odd that he is out there saying he's going to run again at his age.
Right. What? But he doesn't even know what day of the week it is. So, it doesn't surprise me that he's saying that. Like,
right, but nobody in the media, nobody in the corporate media is like,
right.
We're kind of shocked at this. They're like celebrating it.
Right. And
it doesn't seem like there's any concern in the corporate media.
Well, I think because he was the yes man. Like you put him. He's the face of it, but he wasn't. I don't think there's a lot of people that really believe Joe Biden is running anything right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're hopping him up on whatever, his vitamin drip and God knows what else. Stick him out to read off the teleprompter, and whoever else is pulling the strings in the background, actually making decisions.
What do you think being that person's like? Like when you push him out on stage, are they like, oh shit?
I'm sure now it's cringe. It's absolute hold your breath. Hope he doesn't gaff too bad because they're getting worse.
That person's got to go home at night and drink half a bottle of scotch and be like, holy shit, this is like the worst.
Yeah, this is the worst job
Weekend at Bernie's episode I've ever had to live,
Yeah, for real.
How is this still working at this point?
Yeah, when I watched, was it Ducey from Fox News call him out about, his documents being in the garage and, but they're locked in there with his Corvette and like he's reading, you can see he's got something prepared for it, and he couldn't even read that.
I didn't see.
He started to, he was really struggling.
I didn't see that.
It's hard to watch, and in some ways, like I think he's the worst president we have ever had, ever. Like I just do not like him. The way he behaves, that he does a lot of just behaviors that sniffing people and pinching on people, and he just is just
for me
it's creepy.
It's humans, right? I mean, even Trump said, grab women by the what.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what?
I mean, that doesn't bother me as much as.
But at least he wasn't sniffing little kids.
If 50% of the people voted for him, right?
Right.
But if he's not making the decisions, that's where I have a problem.
Oh, sure. Because whoever is running it wasn't voted for. You know what I mean? Like the people didn't give you the power.
Because how many things did he say up on?
Was it BlackRock or something? That's in the background.
How many times has he said something on Mike and the White House?
They're gonna walked
it back. I'm saying like he's come out and said thing, and then
right. And then they said no, where he's like, yeah, we'll nuke this, and they're like, no, we're not gonna, have a nuclear strike against so and so country.
But that's what he said, though.
Right.
And this is what I'm saying. Who's in charge?
That he's got his finger on the button, or that someone you don't know has their finger on the button. Either way, it's terrifying to me. Honestly, I'd rather have President Kamala Harris. Let's put the first female president, female of color even, as president of the United States. Let's do it. I'd rather have her than this feeble old man. And truthfully, I don't want Trump to run.
No,
I don't. I think Trump served his purpose. He broke the wheel. I think he did.
Yeah.
And now, his fight is gone. He's not fighting some of these battles he should be. He wants to sell trading cards and just. Yeah. I think he's old.
Yeah,
he's old too. Go play golf, man.
Right.
Pass the baton. I'm sick of these 100-year-old people trying to run the country, desperately holding on to power. Get the hell out of the way. Let someone else come in that's fresh, with new ideas, with some fight in them, I don't want Trump to run. I really don't.
I don't care if he runs. I don't see him winning. I think he did so much damage.
Yeah, but
I would be surprised if he could get the nomination.
There's a long time between now and then. You can repair a lot. A lot can happen in that time. There are people that they love Trump, man. They're gonna vote for him no matter what.
They will, but there wasn't enough of them. There's barely enough of those people that went out and voted in the primaries too.
Right.
And my thing is, the media is still running enough defense, and they're successful enough, right?
Right.
I just don't.
I think he could win the nomination.
I think the Republican Party knows this, and I don't think they'd give him the nomination.
I think he could. I think he could pull it off. You know. I hope he doesn't run. I don't want him to. You know. I don't know who I want to run. You know. DeSantis is. You know. He seems honorable. I like what he's done with Florida, but you know, honestly, I kind of like him to stay in Florida. Who knows? I might have to move down there. You know,
yeah.
All these stupid laws they keep passing, and you know, the blue areas are just getting harder and harder to live free in. So, so I kind of don't want him to leave Florida, but I do like what he's done with the state. Like, you know, he will fight back. Although I heard that he doesn't, in debates, he doesn't perform real well. You know, that's what I heard. Like, but I guess that's kind of an art you learn as you go too. You get better at it. So, you know, each time he has one, he's more experienced in, and we'll see. But truthfully, I think the Democratic Party is going to chuck Uncle Joe under the bus. And they're going to use that as a way of disqualifying Trump. That's my tinfoil hat down the rabbit hole prediction. You heard it here, guys.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they don't just let him finish his term. I think, you know, this might be a way for them to have him not try to run again.
Right.
I could see that. But
they can't use that document.
I don't know. It's weird.
Because if they do, once you know what I mean, you got to take him out of office. Like he would not be allowed to finish his term. So they can't really use that as a reason to disqualify him from running in the future.
I'm not saying disqualify him from running in the future, just saying that's why he wouldn't get the nomination, because this, you know, he's got this thing, you know, that they'll use to keep him from getting the nomination. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think there's going to be a divide in the Democratic Party where you'll see people wanting to get rid of him, but you'll see other people that's going to want to keep him there because, like, they can do whatever they want in the background, and it's all going to get blamed on him, like you said, right? So he's the Manchurian candidate, right? So I don't know. Well, it should be interesting, but I think he's on his way out now. I don't know. What's up with the FAA grounding those flights?
God, I know. You know, I thought maybe cyber attack. You know?
Yeah, they're.
I mean, would they tell us? Probably not. You know, I'm sure the government's always honest, right?
Right.
They always tell us the truth. It was. Yeah, I woke up and read that and thought, oh shit, really? Like, there's not a plane flying anywhere? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They found a corrupt file, huh?
Yeah, corrupt file, they said. Hasn't happened since 9/11.
They grounded every flight over a corrupt file.
Yeah. To me, I thought, nah, I'm going to chase the white rabbit on this one and go, yeah, I bet you we had a cyber attack. They don't want to, don't want to panic. Don't want panic in the market right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's enough inflation, and Biden's barely looking good right now that he quietly let Americans start drilling for oil again, and they're trying to bring back some of the policies that he set into place in the very beginning of his presidency, which helped inflate the price of fuel. So then you see gas coming down a little bit, and everyone's celebrating, going, yeah, see, the world's not ending. The sky's not falling, Chicken Little. Like, we're all right. We're going in the right direction. The last thing in the world they would want is to say, hey, Russia just hit us with a cyber attack, or China, or, anyone else. Pick one out of a hat that would like to take the U.S. down.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything other than the official narrative.
Real quiet.
Yeah.
And
it was just kind of like something that big of a deal.
And they just want to move past it now and let's talk about Joe Biden and his Corvette, right? Like, to me, I thought, yeah, this smells stinky.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that got talked about that day and then just gone.
Yeah.
But nothing to see here.
Yeah.
They just grounded every flight. I'm like,
yeah, every flight in
maybe.
the whole country, like, and they don't even want to talk about it. Like,
yeah. It seemed like they would have ran with that for weeks.
Right.
No,
they want to talk about the gas stoves. That
was interesting.
Oh, I love it. Because we're all got. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what kind of home you were raised in, but my home was gas, natural gas.
Yeah.
I don't remember being asthmatic, sickly little child because, and my parents cooked at home. Like, my mom cooked every day, multiple times a day. Now, it's like, how much do you really use your gas range anyways, between that, the microwave, the air fryer, the Instapot, the pressure cooker, the slow cooker, the grill. Like, it's divided out so many different ways that we cook and prepare meals now. I don't think a gas range gets used nearly what it used to.
No. We use electric anyways here, but I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I love the idea of forcing everyone into a grid that is unreliable and they can barely keep it going now. And now you want to make every vehicle and every range across the country electric. And, I'm sure that's going to be great for the coal mining industry, that has to mine more coal to create more electricity to protect the environment. Like this.
They don't want to use coal, though.
Yeah. They're going to have to, at least initially. How are you going to generate that much electricity? The way I understand it is a lot of the electricity that we have in this country comes from coal.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. That's my understanding too. My thing is, they keep saying we're going to move away from coal, right?
Yeah. They said we were going to move away from, oil too, and it sounds like we're drilling more now.
We saw it here this summer where they said there was a chance, or a couple of days, we could have rolling blackouts.
California has them all the time.
And they asked us not to run our air if we didn't have to.
Right.
There's a 3-day period there because they're worried about the strain on the grid.
Yeah, and then you look at, big cities.
So then what if all of our cars are plugged into it on top of it and we're all running electric stoves?
No, you're vulnerable and it's unreliable. The electric grid, and look at, man, we got people shooting the transformers out and really? And this is what you want us to depend on? Sure. Of course, I imagine lifestyles of the rich and famous, I'm sure their personal chef that works for them is going to cook on electric.
Probably not.
Nope. And they'll get to eat steak, and we'll be eating bugs.
Well, I ain't eating bugs.
I'm not eating goddamn bugs either.
A while ago.
Now, I know you can technically live on bugs. You know what I mean? I read in the Bible, John the Baptist lived on locusts and honey.
Yeah.
That's all he ate, right? But I don't want to eat grasshoppers and crickets.
I want at least, if that's a diet I want to pursue, I at least want to have the choice.
Right.
And not have it forced.
My body, my choice. Huh?
Right.
Yeah, I like it.
Same way with the gas stove. I don't care if you use, I already use electric. I don't give a shit what you use, but you should have the choice.
Yeah, I don't want to eat
choose
bugs.
If you want to use a gas or electric.
I'd rather eat all the stray cats in the neighborhood, I'd be down for that.
So then, how long before they try to push electric furnaces?
Exactly. Well, they're going to have to.
Shit show that is.
And water heaters.
I have electric water heater already too.
Yeah, but a lot of people have gas or your endless hot water that runs on. So here is one of the things I keep hearing said that I disagreed with. Everyone's like, well, they're going to push you on the electric grid and then they can shut you off whenever they want. And I thought, I'm pretty sure if you have natural gas, like they can show up out at the road and shut you off too.
Yeah.
If you don't pay your gas bill, they're gonna shut you off.
Yeah.
The only advantage would be like propane when you have a big pig.
Yeah.
But even then, what happened if they just backed a truck up, disconnected you from the house, and hauled it away? Because some of these pigs you don't own, right? The
You just
propane,
lease them.
You're leasing them. So any sort of energy, unless you are like,
they did it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got that outdoor wood burner, and so I didn't buy propane for 3 years.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
They drove right up in the yard and said either you buy a minimum amount or we're taking the gas pig.
Yep, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because I didn't buy propane for 3 years. I'm like, take it.
Man.
I'm not buying propane.
Right.
So they took it.
So the only
I guess with propane, they never credited me for the remaining propane.
Really? Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah. Greedy ass companies, but
yeah.
You know that the one advantage with propane that I can see is I have seen houses in the area out here that have 100-pound tanks.
Yeah.
Hooked up, probably for the same reason they got rid of their big pig and couldn't afford to fill it, right? Because it's
or like me, very minimal amount that it's not worth to pay the lease or buy a tank.
Now I lived for years and years in the woods from solar and propane.
Yeah,
completely off grid, independent of the grid. If you were that way, you could probably get away with it for a while. I would think, but. Yeah, just having natural gas doesn't mean like they can't shut your shit off.
No,
no. You know what? And if you think so, quit paying your bill and watch how long you have natural gas. I bet not very long. And there's going to be a technician out at the end of the road shutting that shit off. Maybe it's a little harder logistically because you got to send someone out versus electricity. Maybe you don't. I don't know.
Regardless,
everyone thinks it's like TV. They just push a button and shut you down. But they could shut your cable and internet off like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's a terrible idea. It's just control. It's not gonna make the environment better. It's not gonna make asthma better. There's so much other shit in the world that's like terrible for you.
If you want to reduce asthma, did you ever see the study that a newborn baby that sleeps with an animal skin has like a 70% reduction in the chances of getting asthma?
Yeah. You were telling me about that.
I heard that years ago.
Yeah.
And
being exposed to animal dander is good for them to build an immunity, a good, strong respiratory system. Yeah, it's a crazy study, but it makes sense. And you think about it, 200 years ago, what were children covered up with? Animal hides. Some wool, real wool that you just shaved off your sheep, It makes sense.
Yeah, it was yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I might as well screen.
Wow,
who's that
79%.
from? Yeah, I better correct that though. People call me up for my grammar.
Crazy.
Where are we at here? Here we go. Oh, yep. Went one to it. There it is. There it goes.
There it goes.
You can see it.
Look at that.
Sleeping with an animal fur in the first 3 months of life might reduce the risk of asthma in later childhood. A new study has found the chances of having asthma at the age of 6 years was 79% lower in children who had slept with an animal skin after birth compared with those who were not exposed to animal skins.
Makes sense, It
was even higher. I thought it was 70%, 79%.
So I mean, there's a ton of things that we could do to make ourselves healthier than get rid of natural gas stoves.
Yeah.
And propane stoves.
Yeah.
Like, that's control. That's get in your pod and eat your bug. You're gonna get, and then I seen like they were talking about,
well, that's one way to definitely think about it, but I don't know having you get an electric stove is control over a gas stove.
I think it is.
I think that these people truly believe that the burning of fossil fuels is leading to global warming. Now, where that comes from, I don't know. I don't know where that's instilled from. But the people bringing these ideas forward and talking about making them policy, I believe that they just truly believe that this is a way to reduce greenhouse gases.
I don't believe that if they took your gas range away, like, this helps them feed you crickets physically. I think what it is like when Rome was ever expanding, every time they took over an area, they built a Colosseum. All right?
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason why is public manipulation. But the incredible thing about their coliseums were they're round, and it's done on purpose because it's telling you in your mind, it's programming your brain that no matter where you sit, people can see you. We're watching. We're always watching. Also, depending on who you were, you didn't just buy a ticket. Like if you're going to the Silver Dome now and you get, spend a little extra money. Hey, baby, I got us good seats to the Knicks. Like it wasn't that way. Based on your class was where you sat. That's assigned to you. Like you don't get to buy extra, spend extra money and get a better ticket. That was a way of mentally programming you to know your place. So when you do these things over and over and over again, eventually what you're doing is you're wearing someone's mind down and you're programming them that you are the boss. So whenever my thought, this is just me going down the rabbit hole of, what I believe. Every time they do these little things, they're done on purpose to train us, to potty train their puppy, that they can take anything away from us. They can do whatever they want to us. And eventually, when they say, shut up and get in the bread line, people are going to shut up and they're going to get in the bread line. Because they've been molded and conditioned for years with all these little things like, we're going to take your gas stove away. Well, we don't want you to take the RAM. Too bad. You have to do electric because we said so. Built on shitty science that doesn't make sense, that even the average layman person can look at and go, bullshit. I was raised in a house with gas range. I don't have asthma. None of my siblings have asthma. My parents didn't have asthma. And like I said, 20 years ago, they actually use those ranges a lot more than they do today. So where they don't even show any science in this. It's just a blatant statement. It's control. It's training us that they are in control so that when they do eventually shove you in the pod, tell you you're not allowed to own property, live in the smart cities, and you're only allowed to go outside for an hour a day because you being outside, you might fart, and that is bad for the environment. Like we see that they're scaling back. They don't want us to eat red meat anymore, because of the climate change. It's not global warming anymore. It's climate change, which was brilliant. That was brilliant marketing because the climate's always changed and it's always going to change. And once you labeled it climate change, everything's you can blame on climate change. This affects climate change. That's climate. See, the climate's changing. So that's what I think. I think it's conditioning us as to be sheep.
No, I had never heard your theory on why the Coliseum was round. I had heard they had built it out of viewing purpose. No matter where you sat in there, you had a good field of view of what was going on the field. If you ever watch a football game, the way like at a high school,
sure,
the bleachers sit straight on with the field.
Right. They
and
run
so if
parallel.
they're at one end, you're constantly trying to look over people down the field, right?
Right.
But if you go to a college or NFL game, the way that it goes more around, even, actually, on a corner where you can see diagonally down the field, you actually have better field of view because
no,
of
I think
the
that's
layout.
Something we've learned.
And we've always known that. We've always known that, money buys you a better seat. I mean, that's nothing new. Maybe it started there, right?
Right.
But I'd never heard that they're...
Yeah, that's the
I
study I watched a documentary and then I read some articles about them building the Coliseums and why they were shaped the way they were, and it was to program people to know their place. And, to always know that, it's like having cameras on everywhere in society, and you're always being watched now. You know it. You just know it, and it's.
Did Alex Jones do this documentary?
God, I'm telling you, man. Come on, Alex. Come on our show, baby. Come on.
Holy
man,
shit.
me
No,
and
I'd
him.
never heard
God,
anything
you get
like
me and
that.
Alex in the same room.
Like I said, I had heard they had been built for the field of view. So no matter where you sat, you had a good view of the field.
Conditioning
Man, I don't
people
know,
to learn their place.
I guess I'd have to watch this.
It was
InfoWars documentary on Coliseum building.
It was fascinating.
But how do they know? I mean, you're talking. How long ago was the Coliseum built?
Well, the first one was built after, Caligula burnt Rome to the ground, or they think he burnt like half of Rome down, or was it Nero? It was one of them. It was the crazy emperor that, and after they murdered him because he built a giant temple there, they built the Colosseum as a way of quelling uprising, get people something to do. Let's have a fair. Let's, have games. Let's show society that we care about them as a way of, and even that was manipulation,
Yeah, so 1950 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they know that because of writings, right? The true reason of why they even built it in the first place. They know that because Romans were great about recording their history. It was ingenious, and then you think about it nowadays, they do the same stuff, they distract you with the shiny thing, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're taking this from you, but we're giving you that, you know what I mean? Like, hey, let's watch the athletes play. Let's watch, things that are important. It was brilliant. It was a brilliant way of controlling your population.
It's actually elliptical. It's not round.
Yeah, elliptical.
Yeah. I don't know.
I had no idea that even by class, like women and children had to sit at the top.
Yeah.
Only men could sit further down. And that, based on your class, was where you sat. I didn't even know that. I just figured it was like you buy, here's my bronze coin. Speaking of, I got my bronze coin up there finally. My ancient Roman coin. That was pretty cool.
I don't know. I'm trying to find your InfoWar Coliseum.
Yeah, it was
conspiracy.
a documentary I watched. I think it was on Discovery. It might have been the History Channel. It was pretty good.
There you got me.
Do some research on it. You'll see.
I don't know. I still haven't found it. But
it was great. And there was a lot of thought put into that. Those Romans didn't spend money on that like that for nothing.
Well, they did it for entertainment, right? I mean,
right, but even the entertainment, I'm saying, was a
knew
form
people
of
would pay.
Manipulation. It was because the emperor, there was a great fire in Rome, right? And the people started to believe that Caesar burnt Rome to the ground so that he could clear out the low class people and build his great temple. And they turned against him, they murdered him, but the people were pissed off and rioting, and they built a Colosseum, and they built it over part of where his temple was.
Yeah. And
so it was a way of kind of squashing the uprising and to pacify the population, right?
Yeah.
To show them that you care about them, and let's distract them with a bunch of games and gladiators and shit.
Well, I don't. Again, that's.
But they know that by writings, recordings that they have, because, like I said, Romans were great about recording history.
Yeah, I still haven't heard this theory that. I knew there was different. I knew that different classes. Could purchase different seats, which still exist today, right?
Right.
That's why people get box seats and suite seats at games,
Know your place, right?
Well, not know your place.
I mean, how many times have I complained about it? Lifestyle. They're going to eat steak and we get to eat bugs.
If you were a billionaire and you wanted to go to an NFL game, you don't want to sit and have some guy spilling his fucking Bud Light on you, dressed up like a Viking. I
thought that was half the fun of being.
Yeah, you'd want to sit up in one of those suites with your freaking model girlfriend and
binoculars because sky high.
Well, they have TVs. They have TVs up there.
Sure, they watching it on TV. What I'm saying is you're spending that much money on a seat where you don't get to see the game.
It's about the experience.
Very well, right?
Yeah, but it's about
feeling above everybody else.
Yeah, I think it's about.
And what do you think them people think when they're sitting in the stands and they look back and they see the guy in the skybox? Oh. Think you feel a little beneath them, maybe?
I don't think anything.
I think over time it programs people to just be what you are. You know what I mean? Just be the little worker bee. Go out and do your job. Pay your taxes. So
again, that's you. That's you not taking personal responsibility and chalking up your failures to just the big man keeping you
I didn't say anyone failed. The guy in the stands, he might be a business owner or very successful at work, but not be rich. But that doesn't mean you're a failure.
I'm saying for your failures. I didn't say your.
Well, everybody has failures.
I'm saying, but it's easier to blame everybody else than take responsibility for your own actions.
I think people are far easier manipulated than you believe. That's one point.
Because, ignorance is bliss. I think it's easier to be unaccountable and just take the easy path than it is to grind and put in the work to be successful and be able to sit in that upper box and drive your Ferrari.
And I'm not blaming anybody. To me, there's a difference between a reason and an excuse.
I think far too many people use an excuse of, this is the path of least resistance. I'll let someone else think for me. I'll let someone else run the business. I don't have any of the responsibility other than to show up at 7 a.m. and leave at 3 p.m. And live this lifestyle instead of grinding, instead of going home after 3 p.m. and working to do something to make more money, to have a side hustle, to build something better for your life and your family.
I think the class warfare has always happened and it always will. I think that's how you get people to build pyramids and temples and when I look back at when I read about ancient civilizations and then I look at behavior of people now, it's like we're the same. We haven't really changed at all over thousands of years.
Except when you're talking about pyramids and temples, those were built by people not being compensated.
Maybe.
The welders and iron workers here in the United States make damn good money building really tall buildings.
I think some of those workers in ancient times were compensated. When you look at that Colosseum, that wasn't built by slaves. They had architects there, beautiful engraved stone all around there, statues that were created by artists. They had people that went in and painted the what are the motifs, I think they're called, that there was paintings all over the inside of it. That artist was in there that it employed people. But I think still you learn to I think you're just born with it. It's been so inbred into our DNA. Like, you just know you're born, you're going to go to work, you're going to punch your clock, you're going to do your job, pay your taxes,
right here,
and see your
family. Look at this. The physical construction work was done by Jewish slaves.
Physical construction.
That's what I'm talking about.
But bring up a picture of that again. And look at all the statues that was.
Oh, I'm not saying that there wasn't people that.
It was
those people may have been compensated.
Hundreds of people working on that for years, being well compensated. Because actually, in Rome was even better. It was easier. See, this Jewish slave thing is a little bit disingenuous because there was tons of slaves in Rome, but the thing was about being a slave in Rome was you work, you're compensated, you buy your freedom, and then you can become a citizen of Rome. This is how they conquered everybody. They incorporated them. They didn't even get rid of the people's gods. When they took over an area, they just kind of put it under the umbrella, right? Because they didn't want people to uprise. They didn't want to come in, tear down your statue of your god, and have everyone uprise and fight against you. So even their slaves, like one of the cities I was just watching, the richest guy in the city, and they have the writing about who he was. They found a tomb that he was in, and he actually had started out as a slave and ended up being the richest guy in the city, and that was why people accepted Roman rule as much as they did. That's how they conquered so much of the world, because people did accept it because they offered them a better life. You know?
Well, what I'm saying is, the way you're saying it is the ruling class in this country oppress everybody else, and nobody has any chance at upward mobility.
No,
and
that's
what
not
I'm saying is, I think too many people are too complacent in their lifestyle of not having any resistance.
That's not what I'm saying. You watch people like, Tim Pool, who was just some skateboarder. Now, he's probably a millionaire. He's successful anyways.
Right.
There's all kinds of people.
I'm saying I think more people aren't successful in this country or wealthy because
I think
they stop grinding. They
definitely is a machine in the background that's constantly trying to manipulate you, trying to brainwash you, trying to tell you that you need this X stuff, so, go to work, rack that credit card up. Like, I don't think it's all just everyone in the world's just stupid and lazy. I don't believe that at all.
I'm not saying stupid and lazy. I think people just get comfortable in the day-to-day, 9 to 5. They go to work, they come home, they're tired, they're this and that. And they just get caught up in this cycle, and they're like, well, I only got 15 more years and then I can retire and I don't have to worry about it. But for the next 15 years, you're living the same lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, some people like that, right? You know what I mean? Like, they're fine with that.
Yeah.
And some people ain't, and they try to break out of the box. But when you and I have a conversation years ago that you quit watching Outdoor Network because the hunting shows on there, just the bombardment of the advertising, and they're just the commercialization of the sport.
It got so bad that,
and I'm telling you, there's a reason they do that. It works.
If you owned a company that sold, I don't know, whatever, something in the outdoor industry, you'd want your commercial out there too to try to get people to buy your shit too.
Right, because I know if I spend that money and I get it on there, people are going to buy my shit because
that's not
works.
you. But that's not you being part of the machine trying to brainwash.
No, but I'm saying advertising is part of it.
Let me finish my thought. But it's not you out there trying to brainwash and put people further into debt. You created a product. You're not part of the machine. You're just trying to get people to buy your product to further enrich you so you can enjoy the time on the beach.
I'm not saying that particular company's part of the machine. I'm saying it demonstrates that people can be manipulated and brainwashed very easy. I don't think that the Expo brand on Outdoor Network is part of the machine, part of a cog of the machine that's eventually trying to enslave you. I think someone wants to sell their archery equipment.
Right.
But I think it demonstrates how easily people are manipulated, and I do believe that there are people that are nefarious and have been in the background for a very long time, manipulating people, teaching us to be sheep. Just do what we say. And I think if you look at how this country's changed over the last 200 plus years, you can see where people were very independent, and over time they're being worn down and becoming more and more just the worker bee. When you see laws that are being passed now that are unconstitutional and no one even challenges it, we're becoming docile, right? And just accepting of our master. I think we're slowly being enslaved by the machine.
But we're doing it to ourselves. It's not the machine doing it to us. It's us again going, well, this path is easier. I know my place. I'll just quiet down. We'll just
because I think when you're inundated constantly with this in the back of your mind, you're being trained. Like the puppy goes outside and pisses in the yard, not because it wants to, because it knows if it pisses on the carpet, you're going to beat its ass. And I think we're the puppy, you know what I mean? We're being trained to get in the pod and eat our crickets.
But when I was talking about the Outdoor Channel, I just got tired of wanting to sit down and watch a half-hour hunting show, and
Right.
15 to 17 minutes of it's all commercials.
Right. Yeah, it's aggravating. It's annoying.
That was my point. I don't care that people
But I'm saying there's
advertise
15
on there.
minutes of advertising. Half the show
Right.
is advertising for a
Right.
reason, because it worked.
Well, because companies are trying to, again, they're employing people. They want to buy a nicer house. They want to grow their business.
I'm not.
and enrich
I'm
their
not.
wealth.
You're mistaken that I'm like complaining about that. I'm not. Like, if I had a business, I would advertise the hell out of it and sell as much of that product as I can. But I'm saying advertising works, and that is a form of manipulation. You know, you're training people that you are trying to convince them that they want to buy your brand because your brand tastes better than, that's why, like, lots of times generic brands are as good as the brand name stuff, but people buy the brand name stuff.
And so what's the
brand
harm?
name recognition.
So what's the harm in if you go out and buy that product and either you like it and you
There is
continue
no
to buy it, or you don't like it and you tried it
There
and you
is
didn't
no
like
harm.
it? What?
But it demonstrates how easily people are manipulated, and you're saying that's everyone's fault. And I'm saying when you are constantly bombarded with advertising over and over and over again, maybe it's not necessarily you making the choice that you want X brand Doritos versus X brand Doritos, right?
Well, how am I ever going to know if the new brand of Doritos? I like variety.
Sure.
So how am I supposed to find something new if people aren't putting new products in front of me and going, oh, I want to go try that. Or I want to go buy, I'm going to go to the sports shop and look at said archery product because I did see a commercial. And
I'm
I didn't.
not against advertising and marketing. Not at all. I'm just saying it shows how easily that it works. People do it because it works. And if you can be marketed to and trained over years that, you want this brand, people become brand loyal, not always because that chip tastes better. Some of it's because they've never tried a different potato chip.
I guess I have a hard time understanding this.
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying.
I don't, because I'm not brand loyal. I have no loyalty to any archery company or any potato chip company or any. I have a Dodge in the
more
driveway.
brand loyal than you think, because we had an argument about Under Armour clothing, and you said, well, all my workout clothing's Under Armour because it's better. And I said, no, it's not. And you said, yeah, it is. My Under Armour hoodie would outlast, and I told you, and you know what? I should have wore that hoodie. I'll wear it next week. I'll show you a hoodie that I got that's 10 years old.
I do think they make quality
and it was
athletic gear. I do. Because I told you I have those 2 pair of Under Armour shorts that I've ran in for almost 10 years now. Mm-hmm. And now I use them as bed shorts.
And I wear Under Armour.
But I could still use them. And I have cheaper shorts. Reeboks, I have Reebok shorts, and they've worked fine. I don't have a problem with the Reebok shorts. But,
because that shirt I showed you what brand was it? It was after the show. We had shut it off, and I said, actually, I'm wearing the shirt now, and I've had it for 10 years, and it's perfect. It's just as good as the Under Armour material.
But there's a difference between just wearing a shirt and working out in workout clothes too. Well, it actually was work clothing. That was the shirts I bought for the job that I had, so I wore them all the time. I still believe in buying quality products. I have Carhartt jackets that I've had for almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got.
And I bought lesser. I bought the off-brand of Carhartt, and got half. They're gone. I don't even have them anymore because they wore out. They ripped. The zippers broke. The buttons snapped off. So I still believe in buy. It's not that I'm brand loyal to Under Armour because I own other brands. I just believe that they build a superior product for the money that you're getting out of it, that I can own that stuff longer and I don't have to buy it 2 or 3 times over the same period of time. So, buy once, cry once, right?
Right.
That
I didn't know that you had other brands. When we were talking, you said Under Armour, and I said, oh, okay. Well,
in fact, the only Under Armour hoodie I own, I got for a Christmas gift. Yeah. I didn't even buy it.
I like Under Armour stuff. They're stylish. I like the colors they have. I don't know. I fall into the brand loyalty a little bit.
I don't even own one Under Armour piece of hunting gear.
Right.
Nothing. And in fact, the Cabela's hunting.
No, you got what? Scent Blocker? Or...
Yeah, ScentLock. Yeah.
Why? They make generic brands that are...
Now they do, but when I bought my ScentLock suit, I bought that ScentLock suit before my daughter was born, so 17 years ago. I bought that on sale.
Right. But I'm not beating you up for it because I have it.
No, but I haven't bought a new one since.
But I don't even know that shit ever really even worked.
I don't know either.
You know what I mean? But we bought it because it was advertised to us that it worked. So
right, but I haven't bought one since then. So it's been 17 years. So ScentLok hooked me up.
Yeah, really.
Send me a new suit.
Yeah, send you a new suit.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I don't look at objects like, okay, that's an advertisement, that's a relative thing right now, so I have to go buy that to fit in or to increase my social stature. You know, I look at things as, is it something I need? Is it quality? Is it going to last? How long do I need it to last? Right? Like, I'm not an auto mechanic.
Right.
Or an iron worker. So I can go to Harbor Freight and buy an angle grinder, and for what I do, it's probably going to last me just fine. Right? I
like Harbor Freight, man. I
don't need to go out and buy a high-end angle grinder, because I'm going to use that angle grinder maybe twice a year. Right. But if it was part of my living, if I had to depend on it for a living, I'm going to go out and buy a higher end DeWalt, something that, okay, it's going to cost 4 times as much, but I'm only going to have to replace it every 6 or 7 years. If I buy a Harbor Freight one for work, I'm going to be buying a new one every 6, 8, 10 months because I use it every
some
day.
Of the tools I got that, I'm not using for my craft, my trade, but, things for, I was like, I got some DeWalt stuff. It's, could I have gotten a cheaper brand and the drill lasts just as long? Probably for what I use it for, but I still bought a little bit better quality stuff. I'm not knocking advertising and marketing at all. Like, I love it. To me, marketing and advertising is fascinating. Like, I took some college courses in marketing and advertising, and I loved it. Like, it was neat trying to come up with an ad that would make people want to buy your stuff, right? To me, that's just a neat challenge. My whole point, I think you misunderstood. I'm not knocking advertising at all. I'm saying if advertising works, if training people to believe into something, if that works, it's not a big stretch then to think that there's the system is constantly advertising to you too, right? It's just, if you can manipulate someone's mind to buy a product, which we know works, you also, just by when the ad is played, like why Super Bowl ads are so expensive, because they know everyone's watching them then, right? Yeah. So the more they can get that in front of you, the more likely you are to buy their product. That's just the way it works. So then you can't say then it's impossible for there to be a machine also constantly reminding you of your place, and you know what I mean, to be more complacent, so when they do attack your 2A rights, right, like what's happening right now all across the country, there's all kinds of new gun laws that are coming out. They're just bombarding these states with them over and over. The Supreme Court says no, that's unconstitutional. They instantly are right back with another law worded just a little bit different, but doing the same exact thing. They just took the DOJ and the ATF just made us all felons by anyone that owns a support for your AR pistol, right?
I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, so you got like 120 days to either destroy it, take it off. If you leave it on, it's considered a short barrel rifle and you got to register it. But they're going to right now waive the licensing fee for it. So, yeah, that just went through.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, they just passed
Countrywide?
It. Yeah, or countrywide. That one's
I didn't hear nothing about it.
I went, wow, really? And I think when, it just makes sense, Hey, if I was the king of the mountain, I would try to convince everyone that they're weak and, don't challenge me also, It's a way of people who have power maintaining power. There's over 300 million people in this country. If they didn't want to follow a law, a government really could do nothing about it. respecting the law, obeying the law, is what makes the law relevant.
No, I didn't hear anything about.
Yeah,
this.
crazy. I think they said there was like 100 million of these AR pistols out there that, anyone that owned one, I think you have 120 days, I think is what I read. Wow, man. Here it goes. I think when you look at Canada, for a good example, they were closer in line with our country than most other countries around the world. I think they mirrored us well, and over time they've changed a lot, and they have become a very enslaved country. I think that's the path we're on. I think slowly but surely they keep doing this stuff. Sad.
I'll have to read.
Yeah.
I'll have to read more on that. So what are you going to do?
You know what I'm doing.
Interesting.
It's
I
bullshit,
didn't hear
man.
anything about this.
Yeah.
Oh. There's some outrage, man. There's some lawsuits being filed right away. Yeah, hopefully
I'm going to speak out against it and say it's wrong. It's unconstitutional. Like, leave our constitutional rights alone. I don't care whether you're left, right, centrist. Everyone should feel the same way. Even if you're someone that's Democrat that doesn't even own a gun, never will own a gun. You should still be defending the people who do. It's because once you take one right away, you take them all. You know what I mean? It's Pandora's box. Like, you're not going to get away from it.
They can surrender the gun to the ATF.
Yeah, you can surrender it. Yeah, I'm sure a bunch of people are going to show up with their ARs and give them to the ATF, their AR pistols. Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
So that's all I was saying is that, I think there's some people in the background that's really trying to manipulate society and get us used to the idea of being controlled by everything, or having everything controlled for us. So that you're more willing to drive a car that they can remotely just shut off because you drove too many hours that day. The World Economic Forum that's going on right now, and I was reading that by 2030, they want you conditioned to where you can only buy 3 articles of clothing a year per person.
Who's that?
That whoever is in the group of the World Economic Order, all of them. But I'm saying, yeah, it's crazy and it's out there, and we think, that'll never happen here. But you know what? It is. Slowly, they're changing the mind of society. They're conditioning us to accept this kind of stuff, so that when they do this stuff right here that you're reading about, people are willing to just take it and surrender their firearm.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if with Republican Congress, does any of this get changed?
I don't know. I know that they're very emboldened right now that, what was it? Illinois just passed an assault weapons ban. Michigan's passing an assault weapons ban. What was it? Maryland just banned. They just put it's called no carry anywhere law. Like, because of what happened in New York and California and stuff, where they made it so hard to carry, to get your permit, and the Supreme Court said, hey, you actually are infringing on people's rights. So I think it's Maryland said, yeah, okay, we'll give anyone a CPL as long as you meet the guidelines, but you can't carry anywhere but in your house or in someone else's home. It has to be private property and you have to have permission, but no public area can you carry. So you can't carry anywhere. Basically, they neutered. So the court's saying, hey, people have the right to concealed carry, and then the state makes it impossible for you to carry anywhere and say, but we're upholding the law, we're following the law. So now they're going to have to file lawsuits about that. So right now you're watching states across the country attacking gun laws at the same time. Worse than I've ever seen it. I've never seen it this bad. There's always been push and pull where 2A is concerned. We've seen different bans and, but man, they're coming after it. And, why do they want registration? I mean, think about this. Maryland says you can't carry anywhere in public because we want people to feel safe. That's what he said in his interview that I seen it on the news. And I said, so you want people to feel safe, but not to be safe. So criminals don't obey the law.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not going to save any lives because it's illegal to kill people, and people still murder people. So anyone that's going to murder someone is not going to follow your law. They're not going to take their brace off their AR pistol. They're just not going to do it.
Right.
So what is the purpose? There's no benefit to society doing that other than control. And I think in the end, it's us versus the machine. I think we are in the Matrix.
Do you think this gets overturned?
Oh, I pray so, but my fear is it's not going to. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to get overturned. I hope so. I hope, us speaking out about it, people they start calling their congressmen or congresswomen and saying, hey, their governors, no, we don't want this, and push back against it, but I don't know. I think we are slowly being enslaved. That's what I think. But that's me down the rabbit hole. Like I said, me and Alex Jones would have a fun conversation. Come on, Alex, come on the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that. I
thought I sent you a video on it.
I must have missed it.
Yeah. Crazy times. Crazy times we're living in.
Yeah.
But I think, at least anyone
this one's different than
the bump stock.
Yeah, I mean, those shouldn't have been banned either.
No. Suppressors
100%.
shouldn't be banned. There shouldn't be any licensing for a handgun. Like, it's all bullshit. It's all infringement.
Yeah, this is different though, because this is just a brace. It's just an accessory.
So you can take it
off. It doesn't increase the rate of fire. It doesn't.
No.
It just. Wow.
Help you shoot maybe more accurate because you're braced. But honestly, I would argue, you know what people will do? They'll pad the buffer tube.
Yeah.
Right. So next they'll ban the buffer tube. And that'll make it a short barrel rifle if you have a buffer tube.
Huh. See, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
man, bad.
It's registered in this state either way. It's already registered.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the registration part, if you have one, they already know you have one in this state because it's already registered.
Yeah, because it's a handgun.
Right.
What they want it registered as a short barrel rifle because then there's special licensing that you need. It's expensive. Well,
they said they're waiving it.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're going to waive it right now. But what happens a year down the road when they say now anyone who has this, because we've already accepted this much control, they're always going to push it further and further and further. They're never going to stop.
Yeah, there's definitely an agenda there because there's no benefit.
It's conditioning. Once you start accepting that they can take this and then, okay, no one really needs 30 rounds in a magazine. 10 rounds is fine. Then it's 10 rounds is too much. They want you to have a 5-round magazine. Then they don't want any detachable magazine.
Right.
It's got to be bolt action, 3 shots. It's just moving it. It's conditioning people. That's what I was saying. Marketing and advertising is a good representation of how well that works. I'm not saying people shouldn't be responsible.
I don't see them as the same two things. Yeah. Again, if you don't advertise and market, how am I supposed to find new products? How are you supposed to build and grow your business?
Right. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it works. That's how you grow your business. Like you just said, how can I grow my business if I can't market and advertise? Exactly.
I'm not forcing anybody to buy my product, saying, "Hey, this new thing is out." You probably don't know about it.
When you make sure that you're getting the best slot on TV for advertising,
Well, just because the most eyes are on it that time,
and you're getting it out there more and more. You know what I mean? You're trying to grab more of the market share than your competitors. Obviously, that's
how many
the whole purpose
YouTube
of business.
videos do you watch the whole video?
Most of them.
Bullshit. As soon as it says skip, you hit skip. As soon as it gives you the opportunity to skip a YouTube video, not YouTube
the commercial.
in the video.
Yeah, some of the commercials I skip. I'm sorry, I thought you meant the video.
Yeah, I misspoke there.
The whole video.
Yeah, and when you're watching a YouTube video, how many of the commercials
Lots of them.
Do you watch the whole thing?
Lots of them I skip.
Yeah, I do. As soon as it's, I'm not even watching what the shit's about. As soon as that highlights in the bottom corner, skip.
Right.
The only ones I watch lengthwise, full length, are the ones that, and I don't even watch them. I just kind of tune it out until it's over and it gets out.
And that might not be the most
I couldn't tell you
best form of marketing, but I know, like, even when you're scrolling through your Facebook news feed, like, you are seeing that shit. Your brain is recording
I get that, but every
whether
now and
you
then,
stop and look at it or not.
Maybe because I'm not easily influenced, so it's hard for me to wrap my head around this concept. Because when I'm going through there and I see an ad, if it's nothing I'm interested in, nothing I'm interested. But every now and then I'll see something and be like, no shit.
Right.
You know, and I'll click on shop now, like, I'll see how much this costs. I had no idea they made this, or they upgraded this. It's a new design on something I already had. Look,
because like
this cell phone is 4 years old. Going on 5 years old. I'm not out buying a new iPhone 14.
No, but you have a cell phone.
I do.
You're not dependent on a landline. I mean, we were growing up with
I still have a landline, though.
I know, but you're not solely dependent on the landline the way we were when we were kids.
Right, but marketing hasn't forced me into a new cell phone every 2 years. I'm going to keep this one on until the wheels fall off of it. And then I'm still not going to buy the newest one. I'm going to buy the one that's on sale that's a year or two old and buy that one. I don't...
It was like, because a great example was like with the item that you seen that you wanted to buy for the desktop, the UFO, the magnetic UFO, and then the show that we seen it on, the person that uses it, seen it on Instagram and bought 2 of them. Yeah. I mean, there you go. But
it's not that it was, he just saw, he probably didn't know they existed. Like, I didn't know they existed until I saw his podcast. I'm like, no shit, they make something like that? And I think his reaction was the same way. Like, no shit, they make something like this?
Yeah, it's really neat, He
would have he wouldn't have been able to find it.
But I'm saying, the more you put it in someone's face, the more likely they are to, because it's familiar to them. When they go in the store and you see the same product with different brand names, people they're in autopilot. They go to the one that's familiar, the one that they've seen the most of. So I'm saying you can condition a mind.
I think you gravitate toward the one you like the Monster you're drinking. There's a reason you buy that one and not
But there's also a reason I'm drinking Monster and not Bang.
Because they taste good.
Oh, I think a lot of those energy drinks taste good. I don't know that Monster necessarily tastes better.
Have you drank Rip It?
Bang. I like Rip It's. There's a couple flavors that
I don't like. I drink Monsters because I think they have the best flavor.
I think Monster was kind of cool, and it was on, like when I was into snowmobiling and shit, and you watch the motocross and everyone's advertising Monster, and it was, it's a cool logo, and the nuclear green M that, I don't know. To me, you know what I mean? Like, I like Red Bull.
Maybe, it must just be I have a hard time wrapping my head around this because I don't look at those.
Now, the one I'm drinking right now, yes, I like that Monster better than a lot of the other flavors of Monster. Yeah. But, I drink Monster, and I could, Rip It's are cheaper,
They are, but they don't taste as good as Monster.
There's a couple of I think they're fine, but,
Yeah, I'm not buying
it. They probably give me as much energy if I even get... I drink so many of those, I don't think I get any energy boost off of them anyways, but...
I know what you're saying, though. I have heard people say, I use said product because an athlete promotes it, or NASCAR
like your
driver has
favorite-
it on their
yeah,
car.
you know.
I have heard those things, but
Sure.
for me,
It's kind of fun to,
I don't
belong
have
to the
those
tribe.
influences.
Right. I think you're an anomaly in the world.
I try to sit back and look at things for what they are, and if it's like I said, I like advertising because how I find stuff I didn't know existed,
Sure.
or a new product. I was thinking about buying a new release, you
Yeah.
know, and I didn't know that a certain one existed until I saw an ad. No shit, I'm gonna go to the Archie shop and see if they
Yeah.
have it, and I want to handle it, you know.
The site rack that you sent me that you found and
Yeah,
said,
wasn't
I've
that
never
cool?
seen one of these. Yeah,
I
that's
hadn't
really
either.
cool.
I'd never
You
seen
know?
that before. I didn't go out and buy it. I was more like, wow, have you ever seen anything?
You know, like
this?
I got a Trophy Ridge sight rack. Is it really any better than the Cobra one that I shot? Lots of deer with a Cobra sight rack with a fiber optic sight.
No,
Had the
maybe
same
not.
adjustments.
No,
I mean,
maybe
really,
no, maybe
you
not
know?
than a Cobra. But when you go to like my Spot Hog,
Yeah,
there's a gigantic difference in
right.
sights. There's a reason those cost what they cost.
But I like my Trophy Ridge. You know what I mean? Like,
and for if,
I like it.
right, I'm not knocking Trophy Ridge. I'm saying those I can understand why there's such
Yeah.
a price gap because of the product you're getting, the
Right.
engineering and the quality, the build quality that you get in
But
that.
there's a lot of sight racks that are cheaper than Trophy Ridge that would be, you know,
Yeah,
a lot of them are
I-
close.
yeah, but once you
that
start,
technology was out for a while.
yeah,
you
but
know.
on some of those lesser quality ones, you start tightening a screw, and the screw strips
Yeah,
out, and the little
you know,
washer digs into
it
the
could,
aluminum,
right.
and now you can't adjust the pins up and down.
Right.
And you spend another $50 or $100, now you get something with
Man,
better
you sound like a
hardware.
salesman for them.
No, I've shot enough of these. I've shot
Right.
enough of these sites that I
yeah,
understand
I got a
the
lot of cheap
difference.
ones. I got a whole box full.
So do I have quite a
Yeah.
few too.
Yeah, I never throw them away. Like, you know, I save them because they're good.
If it's something you just
But like I
casually-
like, you know, Trophy Ridge, and you know, it's like I like to. I don't like a lot of the one thing that I'm kind of brand loyal on. I think is, and it's probably my OCD, is I don't like a lot of different brands all over my bow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like to keep
Yeah.
like if I got a Trophy Ridge this, I'm on a Trophy Ridge that. Like, you know, that's why I kind of fell into the Matthews trap of, you know, $120 for a Matthews quiver, which
Yeah.
I gotta admit, to take it on and off the boat,
Yeah.
it was a neat design.
Yeah.
It was quiet. It was easy to do in the dark. But I mean, really, a quiver for $30 is going to carry your arrows. Now, eventually,
that's
are
all
you going
you're
to put
looking
it on,
for.
and it's eventually the nipple's going to break because the plastic got cold and
Or
it
does it-
doesn't line up just right. So eventually,
Does
you
it
break
vibrate
it.
more?
But,
Is there more noise on
right.
your bow when
But
you
it's
shoot
$30
it?
bucks. I mean, do you really got to spend $100 more? Is it
If you-
really
if you-
worth it? I don't know.
But if you like
But I bought it.
quality shit that you have to buy once, that $120 quiver is going to last you and that bow the lifetime of that bow.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna
Versus
last a
the
lifetime
headache
bow.
of
But like, there's Trophy Ridge, like midline
There are.
that you know is probably
The-
as good.
I was listening to, I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and I wish I could because remember who it was by because I'd give him a shout out. But he really did a good job explaining how the archery manufacturers, the bow manufacturers, are really creating iPhone and Samsung, right?
Yeah.
So when you buy into their product, you accessorize with their product, right?
Right.
Like you were saying, Matthews, right?
Yeah.
You buy the Matthews stabilizers, you buy
Yeah.
the Matthews because they have their
I really
own.
like the Matthews stabilizer.
They have their own patented technology that integrates with that
Mm-hmm.
bow. So when you buy into that platform,
You're buying the whole system.
you're
then,
right. You're
Yeah.
and that's how they're starting to build these bows out,
Right.
so that the generic $30 quiver really doesn't mash up
Yeah.
with
It's not going to work real
right.
well with it.
And I found that
That's
interesting.
smart.
Yeah, I thought Hoyt's doing their
Yeah,
own
yeah.
thing with the way they're
Force people to buy your own product. You know
right.
what I mean?
Right. It was
Like
interesting.
I like the stabilizer that I got in another one. It was $150 through Matthews because it was right when that style first come out, and it had the weights were adjustable on the inside. You
Uh-huh.
could change it all and just tune it right.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, I mean, I killed a lot of deer with a $12 stabilizer from Kmart, right? But
It's-
you know what I mean? Like you're spending that much on a bow, you don't want to
What-
put like the cheapest shit.
but if you're really serious into archery or whatever it is, right? That higher quality shit is refining that last 10% of your ability
Right.
to hold. That's just final, just putting
Yeah,
that
and if
final
I'm shooting
edge.
competition and shit.
not even
like,
competition,
You know,
okay.
for real, it would matter, but
It's not even about competition. It's about if you really enjoy said thing, right? Fishing,
Yeah.
right? I've caught fish on Zebcos
right.
a good portion of my life. They catch fish,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're really into fishing, even if you're not competing, man, having a high-end reel and rod that casts smooth,
Yeah.
has a nice retrieve, has just a butter smooth drag so you're not losing fish. The rod has just the right amount of backbone and tip play to get good hook sets. All that shit makes what you enjoy doing that much more enjoyable because you're not frustrated by inferior shit. Even though it still catches fish with a Zebco from Walmart for $30.
Right.
If you really enjoy fishing, you don't have to even compete. It's just that thing that you enjoy doing. It makes it that much more enjoyable. You catch that many more fish because you get that much more positive hook set because, you know.
Think you catch more fish?
I do.
Yeah?
I
Maybe.
If nothing else, you have that much more confidence in your gear.
Right.
And
Yeah, I can see more
confidence
But, you
in
know,
your gear.
especially with archery, like, you know, humans have been killing deer with sharp sticks and bows, like the most basic bow that you could build out of a piece of maple tree for 100,000 years without using a $1,500, $2,000 Matthews setup bow. So I think, you know,
It's not about just killing deer. It's about enjoying the whole archery thing.
but I think you can enjoy archery with, you know, your 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 20-year-old dart and
saying-
bow and aluminum arrows. I don't think
Right,
you need
but if you
graphite arrows.
if you
to-
shoot a 10-year-old
hunt.
bow and you shoot the brand new Matthews, there is no comparison.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And
Light and day
the
difference.
enjoyment of shooting that bow, the ease, the draw cycle, the accuracy. There is no comparing a 10-year-old bow to a brand new bow. There just isn't.
But I'm saying 10-year-old bow, you can still go out in the woods, enjoy it, because hunting isn't drawing the whole love of hunting is so much more than just the smoothness of your bow draw. You know what I mean? Like it's about being in nature, enjoying being outside, watching the animal come in, harvesting an animal. I mean, I know you killed a lot of deer in your life without using a $2,000 archery set.
Maybe so. But why do you have an $800 fish finder to sit on a
Exactly.
block of ice
Exactly.
and do this?
Right.
Why do you have?
Because when I
How
was a
much is
kid,
one-
I
how
used
much-
to sit out there on
Okay,
a bucket.
how mu-
I can understand the shanty.
Why?
Versus sitting on a bucket, how I used to
No,
sit
but
to stay warm.
Okay,
you know?
shanty.
But
My shanty cost me $40 used. How much your
Right.
shanty cost you?
I spent $1,500 on my
Okay,
shanty.
so why do you need a $1,500 shanty? I put my little buddy
Same
heater in
reason
there.
that because I'd say that mine's otter and the quality of otter's probably a little because I have some generic shanties too. You know, quilted, so they're insulated. Insulate holds the heat a little better. They do. But
Your heater doesn't
it's-
work.
Yeah, the heater works, but I don't have to burn nearly as much fuel.
I
And mine,
I
I
went-
put
I-
my
I
heater
did-
on low.
I didn't even.
In my
turn-
other
I didn't-
shanty, I had to turn
didn't-
it on high.
I didn't even turn my heater on.
Yeah.
No. I bought my ice fishing jacket on Amazon for $85.
Yeah.
I didn't even turn my heater on in my $40 shanty.
Nice. Yeah, I froze my ass off in a shanty like that before, especially when it's really cold. But
You make my
Again,
point. For
no,
you
you
bought
are
a 15,
making my
you
point.
bought a $1,500 ice
You're
fishing
making my
shanty 'cause
point.
you
Why?
love ice fishing. You love it.
yeah,
And having that
but,
shanty makes that experience that
but
much
I don't
better.
need a $1,500 otter. I bought top of the line shanty because of tribalism, because of marketing, because I want to look cool while I'm on the ice.
Because you enjoy nice
Is
shit
there-
doing the
Yes,
thing that you
I do.
enjoy doing. You
I
don't want to
do
be out there
believe-
with inferior shit, struggling, frustrated.
Yeah, and I don't want to knock like otter because I do believe the quality is a little bit better. I think the zippers last probably longer than I had a Minuteman. You know, I fish a lot, right?
Right.
I fish hard,
Right.
and using that cheaper stuff. When you use it hard, it does wear out a little faster, but I also had lots of fun in cheap shanties. I got great memories of ice fishing without my $800 graph. And that makes my whole point of when I go fishing, and if I ended up at the edge of the ice and realized I didn't have my camera, my graph, and all this shit, like, I just want to go home and not even fish that day. And I made the joke with my friend that I was fishing with and said, how in the hell did we catch fish before without all this shit? You know what I mean? Like, some of that is just being told that you need it, you know, and then... And does it enhance fishing when you can watch the fish come in on camera? Sure, it makes it fun, but do you need it? Probably not.
Yeah, but it enhances your experience. It makes doing what you enjoy. That's something that you love to do. And having quality shit makes it that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think there's
you feel more confident. You're more comfortable out there. Man, you just feel good when you got a nice $100 ice fishing rod in your hand. Right. You know if a walleye hits it, dude, it's coming through the hole.
Yeah.
You're not worried about it breaking. You're not worried about the reel breaking. You're not worried about your drag stripping out. You know if you hook a nice walleye, it's coming up through the hole. Just like tungsten jigs and shit. You know they perform better underwater when you're jigging them. They have just a little bit better movement.
A little better, a little more solid action. Yeah, there's some differences in that, but it never prevented me from catching tons of walleye with, you know, a lead jig, you know, tipped with a minnow.
I'm not saying it didn't, but nicer shit enhances your experience and makes it that much better. You do catch more fish because you do have nice graphs. You do lose less fish because your reels are higher quality and you're not stripping out. And
I think there's some of that.
Sure. You know, handles aren't breaking off them and
but
shit.
I think there's lots of nice gear out there, and why you decide to go with the gear you pick isn't always because, you know, Eskimo is better than X brand, which is better than Y brand. I think at some point all of them are probably pretty close.
I think there's subtle differences, and I don't know shit about ice shanty. I told you about mine $40 used. But maybe between Eskimo and Otter, maybe the zipper's a little different, and you like that feature better, or the windows.
I think it's
coverings were different, and you like that, or the seats were
as good. It's just the layout of the shanty.
And when you're talking Matthews and Hoyt, there's not a whole lot of difference there,
At
right?
That point, it's brand loyalty.
It's not brand loyalty. I'm telling you, it's what feels better in your hand. It's what just felt better to you. There's no rhyme or reason why I buy this brand and the guy next to me buys the other brand.
Probably different than
it's just how it felt. It just,
you know,
this felt better.
Because I think a $1,500 bow, they all feel really close.
But again, it's that little something different that this is the one.
And I think for most people,
it's like handguns.
It's
how many handguns have you shot in your life? And you go in the gun store and you pick them up, and there's just that one. You're like, wow, this one just feels right.
There's a big difference between a SIG 9mm that's a $1,500 handgun and a High Point 9mm that's a $400 handgun.
Right.
Big difference.
Right.
I agree.
And there's a big difference between...
When we're talking 3 different $1,500 handguns, and I'm telling you, they all perform really close to the same. You can watch the performance videos, brand new out of a box. Let's see how this gun performs. At that point, there's a reason Glock, and I always said I would never own a Glock because I made fun of people who own Glocks because they had Glock hats, Glock t-shirts, all this shit. And then eventually I ended up with a Glock, and I said, wow, I really like this gun. And I have other brands too that I really like a lot, but I'm telling you, you watch the people get tribal about their brand loyalty.
I'm not talking about other.
Maybe most people I don't think are like you that,
but,
you know, when it comes to a $1,500 bow, they're all pretty close to the same. Yeah. You're going to go with the one that's most familiar. You know, like a Bear was really big in Michigan because it was a Michigan company. You know what I mean? Uncle Teddy shot Bear, Fred Bear, you know, like, so it was really huge in this state. Not because the bow was better than Hoyt or Martin or, you know, at the same price level, all those bows were pretty close.
Right. When you're talking about, you said if you had 3 $1,500 handguns from 3 different manufacturers, come down to which one is more aesthetically pleasing to your eyes and which one feels better in your hand.
And I'd say they all probably would feel close to the same in your hand, probably. But, you know, I think at some point it's the brand.
If you handle like an FN, a SIG, and a Glock, they all feel a little different in the hand.
A little bit.
One of them's gonna just kind of match up, and you're gonna look at it and be like, I like the aesthetics, I like the serrations on it, I like the sights better on it, I like the trigger just feels
I think
better.
a lot of people
It comes down to one of those
we are going to
things.
argue about this forever.
It's not arguing,
You know,
it's just
yeah.
figuring out each other's
Right.
opinions on shit. It's not that I'm right or you're right.
It's like
It's just-
some of the
just
calibers
iron-
I shoot. It's just because that's the caliber I shoot. Does it really perform in Michigan better with whitetail than the caliber you shoot? No. You know, not at 50, 60, 70 yards that we're shooting in Michigan. No, it doesn't even matter. It's just, I shoot this caliber. I like that caliber. It was a different caliber at that point than because most people in Michigan at that time, 30-06 was the hunting rifle in Michigan. Everybody had a 30-06, and their grandpa has a 30-06, and I wanted to be a little different, so I went with the 7mm mag,
Right.
and then I kind of liked it. But does it perform better than a 308 or a 270 or a 30-06 at 60 yards?
Not on whitetail deer, no.
No.
But if you wanted to go elk hunting
But yeah,
out west,
if you wanted to go out west or something, then those things start to matter
Sure.
a little bit, caliber
Sure.
size, right?
sure.
But I've been shooting that caliber for as long as I can remember now, and
Yeah.
I'm just kind of loyal to it. You know what I mean? It's just part of me.
Well, it's where you find comfort. You have
Right.
you have confidence that what you shoot with that whitetail, you're gonna harvest it.
Yeah.
There's no
I
question
think-
in your mind. You just have confidence in that caliber that when
People
you
like
shoot a deer,
the club. I don't want to call it tribal because I don't think it's tribal. It's just belonging to the club. That's why NASCAR, like when you brought that up, that's why NASCAR was so popular. Like everyone kind of picked their driver and those products. And I remember the Bass Pro Shop car I liked a lot. Because it was Tracker boats, and I liked Tracker. I owned a Tracker, but was it better than Lund or no? I guess Smoker Craft. They're all at that price range. They're all close. But I liked that I had a Tracker, and I got some Tracker stickers, and I had fun with it.
That's
I think
cool.
it's kind of neat to club up.
well, and I think it's okay to support a company that you find value in their product.
right. Yeah,
If you like Glocks, and you really believe in them, that's the best handgun
Right.
for the money, and you have confidence in it, and you want to support that company, and you want to put their sticker on your vehicle, I mean,
Right.
you're supporting a good quality
Right.
company.
And I'm a Glock guy, right? I became a Glock guy, which was funny because I used to make fun of Glock guys that I swore I'd never own a Glock. And then I got one and I really liked it. I really liked the performance of it and the feel of it. And I've had a Glock ever since, but I like my SIGs too.
And I see a Vortex sticker on someone's truck, and I'm like, man, I believe they bought into quality.
Right. I like Vortex. I got a bunch of their shit.
That's how I see it. Like, wow, that guy bought into quality, and he's letting other people know that this company.
That's definitely better
exists.
than Bushnell, right? That you get from Walmart for
Right.
$39.99.
And they have all different tiers.
Sure.
They have really low end stuff, and they have super high end stuff, and they have everything in between.
So, definitely quality plays a role in it. But I think I still go back to marketing definitely works. And I think that you can condition people, especially over time when they're just little subtle things that they're just doing. And I think we're seeing a lot of that happen now in this country where we're slowly being changed. We're morphing into something different. And, maybe, I guess that always happens when you look at all the civilizations they've had throughout history. They evolve, they change, they never stay the same. It's just how fast are you willing to accept some of these changes? Maybe someday this will be a country where you won't have the right to own a handgun or a semi-automatic rifle. It'll be bolt action or a pump shotgun for hunting only. We may turn into that someday. I hope it's a long, long time from now, but
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see anything. First I'd seen anything about that law, and I'll do some more reading on it, watch some YouTube videos.
And I know, like, I'm the conspiracy one, and I'm the one that thinks there's always someone in the background going with the dirty plan. Yeah, for sure. So that's why I formulate those ways of thinking about, manipulation, human manipulation. And I guess it's kind of like battered wife or battered husband syndrome. They just take it because they've been the resistance is beat out of them. They just at some point just accept it, and then they're familiar with it. Then it's a place of comfort for them. Like if they were in a situation, in a relationship where they were treated differently, they freak out. They got to reprogram their whole mind, because I think conditioning does work for sure. I think we're seeing that now a lot.
I mean, you can see it on social media with the way
exactly.
that the censorship, the articles that get downrated,
right? The way our channel flatlined for a long time.
You get shadow banned. Your stuff doesn't get promoted if you don't promote a certain ideology, a certain way of thinking. If you talk about certain subjects,
I just think humans now, especially now more than ever, are busy. We are like our minds are just just all the time.
Well, we're inundated with a lot more information than we ever have been, and we're not.
Right.
We don't move at the same speed that technology does. Right.
Right.
We were watching Little House on the Prairie today. It was just it was playing in the background.
Yeah. I love that show.
And my daughter said, "Do you think life was harder or easier back then?" She said something to that fact. And I said, she goes, "Do you think it was harder or less complicated?" I said it was both.
Yeah.
It was a harder life, but it was less complicated. Right. I said, if you wanted to talk to a family member, you had to write a letter, handwrite a letter, sit down, put it in an envelope. You had to take it to, the general market. The carrier would come pick it up by horseback, have to take it, from town to town to town until they got to, and then you'd have to wait until it made its way back to you, right?
Right.
So I said it might be a month or two before you hear back from that family member then. So
took a long time.
Right.
I said to move around compared to now, where it's instant.
I said this morning you got to go to town in a vehicle that had heated seats. Back then, you rode on a hard-ass, cold bench carriage seat all the way to town.
Yeah. If you were wealthy, you might have some wool.
Yeah, maybe a blanket down on. Right, but
some cotton.
I said, life was harder, but it was less complicated. And Charles Ingalls, Michael Landon, he was playing a fiddle, and the kids were dancing in the house at night, and I said that was probably something that happened on a Friday night, The old man would get out guitar, fiddle, and play a tune, and that was like, wow, like
that was their entertainment for the week.
Yeah. Because of everything else is work.
I love that show.
And I said you can't look at through through today's eyes. That was 200 years ago.
Right.
You got whatever. Don't quote me. I know it's like 170, whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to look through it through the eyes of the period. You can't look through it through today's eyes. Right. You have to understand that it was still it's still progressing.
Sure.
Technology they had then, they had the telegraph, right?
Yeah.
To communicate, right?
Yep.
So
they had the sawmill, those where the mills were getting to be. The water wheel. Yeah. Generate.
They had trains that ran on steam, so
they were starting to to come into it.
So you have to look at it for what it was at the time. It was still cutting edge.
Sure.
Things were things had never been better.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that fiddle was technology, right? To them.
Yeah.
100 years before that, there probably wasn't even one of those. I mean, humans were making noise beating on trees.
But if you really had to get a message out, if you could go to the post office and tell him, I need to get a message to whatever town, you had to pay extra, but he could instantly send a message.
Yep.
And I'll let you know when I get the message back. It'll be by the end of the day, if we can get a hold of so-and-so. Yep. That had to have been like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, for real.
We have instant communication anywhere in the United States,
Right. I love that show.
Yeah.
I used to watch it all the time as a kid with my mom, and I would tell her all the time, like, even as a kid, I'd say, man, I wish I was born back then. I should have been alive back then, which was funny that I ended up living that way for so long.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, anyone that knew me as a kid could have seen that coming, you know. There's just something about being out in the woods and, you know, feeding your chickens that is just comforting, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Let's go down that.
Oh,
What's going on with
God.
chickens and eggs?
That's that movie. They
Yeah.
Live with Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
He puts the glasses on and everything, you know, he sees the aliens. Yeah, eggs. That's crazy. I heard on Tim Pool's show $9 a dozen. Ooh. But I heard that there were going to be places in the U.S. that in 2023 they were going to be $12 a dozen, a dollar an egg.
What's going on with the feed and what am I hearing? Have you heard any of this about like some of the big?
It was a mixture from what I read. There's been fires and all these granaries, and they don't have as much grain for the chicken feed. Some of the harvests weren't really as good, so you know they're traded on futures, right? Kind of like the stock market and oil prices and shit. So that will adjust it. Then you had like the bird flu that swept through, and then some processing plants that happened to just burn up around the country. It was kind of like this perfect storm of all this shit that happened that made chicken and eggs a hot commodity, man. Wow.
See,
I read that a restaurant was bitching like no more mistakes making breakfast. Like, you know, someone orders their eggs over easy, they better be over easy because you can't have people sending, you know, eggs back because they're overcooked or, you know, like they're too expensive. And who would have ever thought that would have been the thing in the restaurant that you know, they're not bitching about the steak, making sure you cook the steak just right. It's make sure you get those eggs right. They're getting ridiculous in price.
Well,
but I've seen
where
some places that were $6.99 a dozen, and you know, I mean, it's still over 50 cents an egg. That's that's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, locally here, I've seen well over $4 a dozen just for like the base.
Yeah, basic. They're not even the large grade A eggs, you know, and they're $5 a dozen. Yeah.
And well, I've heard some conspiracies floating that it's really not. The bird flu really didn't hit as hard. It's supply chain with the feed.
Right.
And there's actually chickens that are being slaughtered because they can't get enough feed. Now, right. Whether or not that's true or not, it was just an article I was reading. I was trying to find it.
That's kind of, in my mind, they were saying that's where my mind goes with it.
Supply chain issues, feedlots not being able to produce enough feed because of workers and all this shit and getting their supplies in and... I don't know.
Is that, you know, it was the granary in one of the towns here that's not far from here burned for a week. You know, I thought, wow, I used to go there and get my chicken feed. It was one of the places I'd go.
Yeah.
Get out of work, I'd swing through there, get my feed. So, and it... Yeah, this whole thing is just going in a bad direction. It's just...
I was trying to find the article.
Food is getting more expensive. I think this year is going to hurt. I really do. I think this is going to be a really hard year. Across the board, you know, whether it's food, fuel, energy, healthcare. I don't think any of it's going in a real good direction right now.
Yeah, it's not good.
See my insurance company starting to kick back, you know, things for medically that now they don't want to cover. They don't want to pay. I got to call and, you know, like argue with them and say, no, this is covered. But, you know, they're trying. A lot of people just pay the bill, you know, say whatever, just pay the bill. And I'm like, no. But how many people did? You know, so how much money did they save? I think I think the economy's in a lot worse shape than they're portraying it, for sure.
I do remember one of the big hatcheries last year said they had that bird flu and they had destroyed a bunch of their chickens. And this article here is saying that's part of it. Like some of these bigger ones have had to destroy chickens because of the flu, and that's created. I don't know.
And that's why I said that, you know, it was kind of like.
See, here it says it's costing producers more to feed the animals.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, the one I was reading had said something to the effect that.
And that's why when we were having that conversation about, like, when Tim Pool was talking about having chickens and, you know, you let them out and then they eat and then we eat the eggs. And I said, well, you know, that's great there. But, you know, in the northern areas in the country, like, you spend months of it under snow.
So does he. That's why
they're not eating bugs. Well, this was his first year with chickens, isn't it? I think so. I think.
No, he's had them for a couple of years because and I know.
Oh yeah, it's been a couple of years. So
last year.
I didn't understand where he got, like, you know, you have to supplement their food,
right?
Especially in the cold months when there's not bugs and there's nothing green for them to eat, you know, and you know. Once it's really cold, like, you open the door, the chickens run out, they eat a little snow, then they run right back in, they all huddle together and stay warm, you know? Yeah, who would have ever thought that, you know, the hot commodity was, man, I wish I owned stock and eggs, you know, like, ooh, some people are making money.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, but...
if you got them, the people who got them, right? Yeah. So
it sounds like it's a supply and demand thing that they're running out.
I think it's, you know, you've been in the store and, you know, you're for a whole week. It's like, where is all this shit? Where'd it go? You know, it's just gone.
I wonder how much of a shortage there's going to be of baby chicks at like Tractor Supply this year and what they're going to cost.
Right, because chicks. I wanted to do chicks this spring. And I'm like, oh man, I wonder if they'll even have them, or if they do, you know, are they going to be, you know, $12 a piece now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You know, you used to buy them for, you know, $1.99 each, you know, like.
Well, even last year, I want to say they were $3 or $4 a piece.
Yeah, they were already going up.
Yeah.
So, they'll probably be outrageous this spring, if they even have them.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. How many will even be sold?
They might, you know what I mean? I think what they're doing is spreading this out where everybody's got a little, so you're not really seeing just how bad it is, and not any place is suffering completely. Like, you know, this week at Walmart, there's no crackers for like a week, but at IGA have them. But then, you know, you go to IGA next week and they don't have crackers, but Walmart does, or you know what I mean? But then they're out of chicken. Right, so I think they're hiding just how bad it is. I think they're trying to not create a panic. Because obviously, you know, that makes it worse. People panic, it makes it worse. People look at what they did during COVID with toilet paper. National shortage in toilet paper, like that was, you know, the one thing everyone was worried about. I'm going through the store laughing, buying canned food, and I'm like, they're fighting over rolls of toilet paper.
Well, because it was one of those things.
Man, wipe your ass with a sock if you have to.
Well, they would, but that's, I mean. Yeah, if you had
to. There were things in that store that were more important to survival than toilet paper. It was comfort, you know what I mean?
Well, one of those things, I mean, in today's society, telling your kid to wipe their ass with a sock and
but if you had the choice to feed that kid or let him wipe his ass with a sock,
well, obviously those
take your sock off, son.
Obviously, those people had food, otherwise they wouldn't have been fighting over toilet paper. It was because they needed it.
They had a little bit of food. I know people that were buying toilet paper and they did not have like pantry full of shit.
Well, maybe not.
You know what I mean? They had a couple days worth of
food. Yeah.
And that's what I meant. Like, well, when you're worried that something's going to run out and you can't buy it anymore, you're not buying food, you're buying toilet paper. It's just not the decision I would have made.
But you're acting like they didn't have food or they weren't there buying food also, that the only reason they were at the store
was to
what
I'm saying is they were afraid that things were going to run out, and people, they get silly. You know what I mean? When they panic, they do silly shit like run the country right out of toilet paper, but leave all the canned beans, you know.
I don't know. All the stores I saw during that time, they didn't have much of anything. They didn't
I
have
never really
canned
had a
goods.
hard
They
time
didn't
getting
have-
anything except toilet paper. Paper towels, there was a couple of weeks where paper towels were a little
I didn't
funny
have.
to get.
In fact, the store I went to, they were selling commercial cases, 30 rolls in a case for $7.
Wow.
I bought 10 cases.
Right.
I had 300 rolls of paper towels.
Right.
They lasted me a year and a half.
Oh yeah.
$7 for a case of 30?
I didn't even really have to go to the store except for pet food, to be honest with you. But
Beef and chicken were the hard ones for me to find.
Yeah.
Beef and chicken. That's
Yeah, there was definitely the store I was going to.
and toilet paper was a struggle to find.
Mostly toilet paper is
consistently
what I
toilet
seen.
paper.
It was just crazy. It was the craziest thing to run out of. I would have never thought that before that happened.
Yeah.
Had someone said like, you're gonna end up in a pandemic and like you're not gonna be able to buy toilet paper, paper towels. Like, it would have been beans and rice that everyone would have grabbed, and it was toilet paper. It was surprising.
Well,
So I think right now they don't want to create a panic because
Yeah.
because people just, you know what I mean? They hoard. They
so I want to give you my theory on the
Yeah,
toilet
go
paper
ahead.
thing. I think, especially at the time, all the kids were in school. Everybody was working, right?
Yeah.
You got up at 6 in the morning, you left the house. A lot of people don't get home until 10 o'clock at night because their kids
Right.
have sports. So they're shitting at school,
Yeah.
they're shitting at the office,
Right.
or they're shitting at the sport event after work. All these places had toilet paper. Now all these places are shut down.
Yeah.
Well, all these people still have to wipe their asses.
Right.
And they have 4 rolls at home because they only shit at their house on the weekends or maybe once through the week or something because they do it at all these other places all week.
It's good.
Now all of a sudden they're all home,
Right.
shitting 2 times a day. The kids are all home. They're all home. They're not doing it at school.
Yeah.
So now what do? You got to buy toilet. Now you need 10 rolls a week at the house because you're not using the office and the
Right.
schools and the sporting facilities. You're using it
It's
exclusively
pretty
at
interesting
home.
way of looking at it. I like that. That's interesting. It makes sense.
It's the only theory I came up with that made sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see why. They would. You're obviously using more of it when you're home. I thought some of it. My theory then was people expected to be sick and that they were just going to go through more because
I don't think so.
obviously when you're sick, you know what I mean. Like
And then-
you can go through a lot of toilet paper.
And then you're sitting
But-
home and
yeah.
you're bored, so you're eating more because now you're just eating out of
Yeah.
boredom. So
Well-
now you're shitting 3 times a day.
Man, Facebook must have loved that, huh? And everyone knows that's the app you go to when you're pooping. So, that's what
I
Facebook
have
says
never
anyways.
taken my phone in the bathroom.
No,
At work, it's in my back pocket
Right.
just because I'm carrying it, listening because
It's just-
I'm listening to a
Yeah.
podcast, but not. I've never
I mean, I guess
I've never taken it out going to the
Right.
bathroom, and I just don't.
No.
I don't even take like at home. I don't even take it to the bathroom with me. I just
Right.
go to the bathroom and get it done. I don't want to be
Yeah.
in there longer than I have to.
Some people that's like their quiet
Yeah.
place, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the kids can't bug you. Like,
Yeah.
just leave me alone. I'm gonna go in here for 20 minutes and shop.
The random shit we talk about on this podcast. We talked.
You never know where it's gonna
Oh
go,
my
man.
god, dude! We covered everything from
Yeah, we did.
governments to toilet paper.
Yeah, it was a good video, I think. Anything else?
Not
I
right
think-
now. No,
Yeah.
we gotta save something for next
Yeah, all right.
We did.
Almost 2 hours. We did good.
week. We didn't even say like, share, subscribe.
No, we didn't get into it. So
Rate
guys,
us.
please, man,
I
take a
hope that
second.
everybody
Just
made
hit the thumbs up for us.
Anybody made it this
You know.
far, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, and listening, and find us on the socials. We're all over Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, Minds.
Yeah, we're on everything.
We're on everything, so give us a
Yeah.
follow over there too.
Yeah,
and
help us grow.
leave us comments and share it. Let other people know
Yeah.
about us.
Yeah, take a moment, hit that
And-
thumb,
yeah.
ring the bell,
Yeah, it
turn it
definitely
black, and then
helps.
you're notified every time we drop a video.
Yeah, it definitely helps. So, all right. Well, everybody be safe out
Thanks,
there and
guys.
take it easy.